Hi, welcome to ACTV's Cooking with Kassy. I'm Kassy, Integrative Nutrition Health Coach, and today we have some great smoothies we're going to make. We're going to do a hot smoothie, and we're going to do a blueberry cold smoothie. So, and I have an extra special treat for you at the end of my program, and that's going to be dried mandarins and dried persimmons. So first we're going to do a hot golden milk, which is a very spicy, warm, anti-inflammatory, it's not really a smoothie, but it's a hot drink, and you can actually add it to coffee, or you can just have it plain, and it's delicious. So first we have our raw organic cashew pieces. I always like to get cashew pieces instead of whole cashews because they're less expensive. They're the same thing, they just don't look as pretty. So what we want to do with these is we want to soak them overnight. And in soaking them, we are adding some great enzymes that are going to help us to process them and digest them in our digestive systems. And so we're going to add some cashews that have been soaked. If you don't have time to soak them, they're a very soft nut, so you really you don't need to soak them overnight. If you're pressed for time, you can just soak them in very hot water for about 30 minutes just to get them soft. And these recipes are all on my website, CompleteHealthWithKassy.com. So we are making the golden milk, and we're going to add about a half a cup of soaked cashews. And then we're going to go to the base of our smoothie, which is fresh turmeric. And turmeric root is known for its anti-inflammatory properties. It's very good for digestive and for inflammation in general. This is our fresh ginger root, and this also is very anti-inflammatory, very warm tasting, very yummy, and it's also very good for digestive. So if you have digestive issues, which most of us do, just because of all of the fast food and processed foods that we tend to fill our bodies with. So anyway, it's going to be really helpful for that. So we're going to add some turmeric, and you'll notice on my website, you can actually pre-make this. So you can make it ahead of time, keep the cashews out because the cashews don't last very long. But if you make the paste with just the spices that we have and the ginger and turmeric, it's going to last a long time in your refrigerator, at least 2 weeks. And that way you can just take out a spoonful and add your nut milk or coconut milk or whatever kind of milk you like to it, and you can make it hot or cold, but it's very nice, especially before bed too, to sip it. It can help you sleep. So we're going to add our ginger next, and then we're going to go to our medjool dates. Medjool dates are just a wonderful sweetening source. They are a superfood, so they're packed with all kinds of vitamins and minerals. Plus, it's a very low glycemic sweetener, which we want because, again, we eat way too much sugar. So this is another way we can substitute regular sugar for a great healthy sweetener. So we're going to just put in a couple of these. And the recipe calls for local honey, which is great for, it's also a superfood. So it's great for allergies and just, there's a lot of health benefits to local raw honey. We are going to skip the honey for this particular recipe today because we're going to make it, we want to make it lower glycemic. So we're actually going to use granulated monk fruit, which is 0 glycemic versus adding more sugar to spike our blood sugar. So we're going to actually add this. We are going to put the local honey in our next smoothie, but for now, we're just going to add some monk fruit, which is equal parts of sugar. So whatever amount of sugar you would put in, which in this recipe is around a teaspoon, you would add a teaspoon of the monk fruit. And again, this recipe is very versatile. So you can, if you like more spice, you can add more spice. We do put pepper in it, freshly ground pepper, which is also super anti-inflammatory. But if you like it hotter, you can even add cayenne pepper. We also have Ceylon Cinnamon, which you'll probably hear a lot from me. I prefer this cinnamon to regular cinnamon that you can buy in the store. It does not have any artificial ingredients, and it's not from the tree which is normally sold as cinnamon, which is the acacia or cassia tree. This is actually from the Ceylon, and it's very super anti-inflammatory, whereas the other one can actually be problematic for different things, different health issues. So you have to be careful how much you eat. But this cinnamon, it's just wonderful. And it's very tasty as well. So we're gonna add that. We have some cardamom, fresh ground cardamom. I'm gonna add just a little bit because it goes a long way. And we have our clove. And again, we're not going to use very much, just enough for flavoring. But again, if you prefer more, then add more. And we're going to add some vanilla. This is vanilla, ground vanilla bean. So you're basically taking out the ingredients that would be in vanilla extract. Which I like to keep things simple, and I always say the fewer ingredients, the better. So this is just the vanilla bean, just the way God made it, and it's super nutritious and delicious. I like to put vanilla in a lot of my foods that I make. We also have some raw coconut oil. This is just raw coconut oil, and very minimally processed. And this is going to be for texture and for flavor. But it's also, coconut oil has a lot of health benefits. It's a really good fat that is just really good for our bodies. This is actually MCT oil, which is a derivative of coconut oil. So it's like coconut oil concentrated, but it's highly refined, so it doesn't have the coconut flavor. I like to add it for the health benefits, but I like to add the coconut oil too for the coconut flavor. That's why I have both in here. This has amazing health benefits for your brain, because our brains are made of mostly fat, so this is going to go and feed your brain perfectly. So if you struggle with brain fog or forgetfulness or anything like that, which I know with me being at the age I'm at, that's a big plus to have something so great that you can add to so many recipes. I put this in my tea in the morning, and I also cut my salad dressing. When I make salad dressing, I'll do half brain octane oil, which is also MCT oil. That's the one I use. So you can use half of the MCT and half of the olive oil. That way you're getting the great effects. Olive oil is great too, but this is just more concentrated. So anyway, so we're gonna add a little bit of this. You have to be careful with this, because if you add too much, it can cause digestive discomfort. A little bit is great, but you do have to take it in stride, because it's got such a high fat content. If you aren't used to that, you can get nausea and have digestive issues that are uncomfortable. So we have that, and we have some freshly grated nutmeg that we're going to add to it. So a lot of these spices are Ayurvedic spices. They're very warming, and they're very They're going to be very healing to the digestive tract, very anti-inflammatory. You can buy a milk that's similar on, you can buy it at the health food store online, but it's made typically with powdered ingredients. And so the fresher, the better. I prefer to use the fresh ingredients. And we're going to just do a little pinch of salt, and then we're going to add hot water and blend. So we're adding some hot water to our hot smoothie, our golden milk, and we're going to blend it. So before we blend it, we're going to add a few drops of thieves oil, which is an essential oil blend of lemon, rosemary, eucalyptus, clove, and cinnamon. Very spicy, highly anti-inflammatory, antiviral, antibacterial. It's a great addition to build your immune system, especially during flu season. So we're going to just add a couple of drops of that. You only want a few drops because a little bit goes a very long way. And normally you don't have to blend it as long as I blended it. The only reason we're blending it longer today is because I didn't have the paste already made. If you have the paste in your refrigerator, all you have to do is take it out and blend it for a second and it's done. And there you go. You have a creamy, beautifully colored smoothie. And here you have it, a delicious, creamy smoothie for any time of the day. Cheers. And since it is the holiday season, just add a splash of your favorite spirit to our golden milk, and it makes a great eggnog alternative. And next we have the Lavender Lacuma smoothie, and we're gonna start with cashews. There's a few ingredients here that we've used for our last smoothie. One is cashews, and again, you can use any kind of nut milk, coconut milk, or milk alternative that you prefer. I prefer the cashews because they're just very good for you and they give it a nice taste. We're going to add some blueberries, a half of a banana. This recipe does call for local honey, but again, as in the last smoothie and many of my recipes, if you are working on keeping your glycemic level low, you can use monk fruit or stevia or another sweetener. But today we're going to use a local raw honey. Oops. Oh, I didn't think about that. Okay. I need to wash my hand really quick. That was a lot of honey. Okay. We've got fresh Meyer lemon. Just a little squeeze of that. Hemp hearts, which are a great source of protein. Some fresh vanilla bean. Just a pinch of salt. And to top it off, we're going to put 1 drop of our Young Living lavender. You can use other brands, but you definitely want to make sure it's a therapeutic grade. And a lot of them that you can get at the health food store, a lot of essential oils, or you can get essential oils at the drugstore these days. But you need to be careful because they oftentimes are not food grade. You need to make sure if you're eating it, it needs to be therapeutic food grade. With no other additives in it. Again, we just read our ingredients, and that way we don't get in trouble with what we're putting into our bodies. We're going to add a little bit of ice and water. Again, if you're not adding the cashews, but you're doing it with a different kind of milk, then you can just add the milk and ice. Okay, now we're gonna blend. I forgot 2 of the most important ingredients. Oops. Here we go. I'm gonna add them in before we blend. I've got Lacuma, which is a very great alternative to sugar. It actually has a sweet taste. It's great for smoothies, very low glycemic, and it's a superfood. It's got lots of health benefits. And we're going to add a little bit of Damiana powder, which is actually from a flower, and it is known to improve sexual health. Who couldn't use some more of that? Gosh, killing myself. Okay, now we're going to blend. We're going to blend it all together and we'll have a delicious smoothie. It's a beautiful color too. And our lavender Lacuma smoothie is ready to enjoy. And another way we can enjoy these beautiful seasonal fruits, persimmons and mandarins, all year round is by drying them. And I'm going to show you an easy recipe right now how to dry them. First, you need a dehydrator, and then we used mandarins. We only have these a couple months out of the year, so this is a great way to prolong the season. We slice them thin, both the mandarins and the persimmons, and we're going to add just a drizzle of dark amber pure maple syrup. Again, you don't want to get a maple syrup that has any other ingredients in it. You just want to stick with maple syrup. And we've added some cardamom, Ceylon cinnamon, and freshly grated nutmeg. And you just want to stir it gently. Place it in your dehydrator for 8 to 10 hours, and then you end up with this beautiful fruit that you can eat and enjoy throughout the year. The recipe is on my website, Complete Health with Kassy, and they're just a delicious addition to soups and salads and drinks.